Like we were saying before, when you have a bally character like this is usually when you're in CG animation, this is one of the first things that you're going to animate for a walk cycle. It's just a ball with legs. And the rotate X, the forward rotation on the character, it's hard to think about because they don't have a spine like we do. So what I usually recommend students do is think of it like their head. Look at the rotate X as if it was the overlap of the head. So as they're walking, you're going to get that up and down motion, but based off your own nose. So when you look at your reference, normally, everyone's a little different, so it also depends on your personality. When you walk, as you come down, your head will drag, and then as you go back up, your head will drag down. So it drags up and then down, up and then down. And that creates that overlapping motion. So you just build in that a little bit and walk. Thank you so much for the sub. Aw, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We were streaming 5 hours. Nice. That's a nice stream. So we need to rush off and get some food. Yes, definitely. Get some food, enjoy it, and hopefully we'll be able to talk soon. Let's see. I have an animation that I would love some feedback on. Should I wait till the end of the stream? We'll see how it goes with this demo. Maybe we'll do a little bit of Castlevania, then we'll come back and then kind of go back and forth. This way it's not super long on any one topic, or we might just do it right away. We'll see how long this takes. Okay, so think of it like the nose. Now, the reason why I say it's a little different per person is, well, you can change how you walk. So for example, normally when we walk and relax, so this would be a vanilla walk, your nose overlaps your body. When we do a personality walk, that can change. You can have a character that kind of walks like this, and they kind of like move a little bit more snake-like, where their nose will lead the action. You can have a character that's just listening to music, and now their head's just following a different beat than the rest of the walk. So it's not like a universal constant, but it's a good place to start. Now, that's great and all. Yeah, animate that rotate X like a nose. Yay. Now, what happens when you've got a character that's actually a full character? You've got a character that actually has a full body and a head. We're not going to do arms here, but we've got a full character here. Now what you do with the rotate X. So yeah, Hinky Pink, or Hink Pink, thank you so much for the link there. So Doig Swift are parts of the Knights of the Light Table, which is just an awesome group. Like, what a better name. You can't get a better name than that. It's amazing. Check out their work. I highly recommend it. I think it's also, I should have remembered, I think it's linked down below as well. Totally forgot about that. So when we've got a full body character like this, how do you analyze the rotate X? Once again, it's very tricky, especially in the hips. The spine, you can kind of see a little bit. The head, well, we can see clearly. Usually look at the nose. You're going to be able to get that overlap in the head right there. Now, what's the spine doing? Well, the spine, it usually depends on how the character is walking. So if they're walking kind of straight like this, usually as the character comes down, you're going to get a little bit of a compression forward, usually. So again, vanilla walk, as you're walking, you come down and your body kind of sinks in a little bit. And then as you come back up, it stretches. So there's a little overlap in there. It's very slight. If you watch people, they're not doing this as they're walking. They're just doing this. It's tiny. Now, when you get into personality walks, that can change a lot. If a character leans forward while they walk, you're going to get that a lot more. If they're leaning back, you're going to get the opposite, where as they come down, they're going to rotate backwards because of the weight of their spine and their head pulling down. So it'll go this way. Either way, there's a little bit of rotate X in there. Very slight. in the chest. Okay, you get that in there. What do the hips do? That's the trickiest part. What does the rotate X of the hips, which direction does it go? It's almost impossible to see because normally when we're wearing reference, we're wearing clothes. So that's hiding what our hips are doing normally. It's also very, very subtle. So the main thing to keep in mind with the hips is that they will tend to counter the spine. That's basically it. So whatever motion you do in the spine, just do a tiny little bit of the opposite direction in the hips. So my typical go-to example for this is just think of contrapposto. So for anyone who doesn't know, contrapposto is when you have a character. Let's do a simple character here. From the front view, they're standing here. Contrapposto is to put the hips and shoulders in opposite directions. We do this naturally to keep ourselves balanced. So if our hips bend this way, our shoulders will go the other way. And this gives that nice dynamic posing. So you get that pinch on one side, stretch on the other. Now, from the side view, our body does a very similar thing. We don't usually notice it because of the way our anatomy is. It's harder to see, but it does happen. So when you have a character here, by default, our body points upwards slightly. Our hips tend to point down ever so slightly in a neutral pose. So what happens if you have to have your character really bend forward? So the chest comes forward here and now it's bending down. Well, the hips are going to do the opposite. They're going to rotate so that the hips now point up and it exaggerates that bend in there. So we get that curve, stretch. Same thing as the contrapposto. If we were to do the opposite, where the character bends backwards here and really like tweaks their spine back. So now their chest is pointing up. What's going to happen to the hips? Well, they go the opposite way. Now we do have control over this. It's not a universal thing, but it is something that will happen naturally. So now you get that stretch in there, pinch here. So bending this way, stretch. It's the contrapposto, the opposite. Our chest and hips are trying to keep each other balanced when we are walking. You can also see this like the motion. If I bend forward, my hips go backwards. It's all balance. So that's essentially what to keep in mind when you're animating this. If you're thinking of a simple character, think of it like their head for that rotation. It'll make it a lot easier. For a full body character, just get the rotation of the chest is usually very small, but get that in place or visualize that, and then let the hips counter it. And that'll usually get you very nice naturalistic motion.